Hello and welcome everybody to another Destiny podcast episode. I don't remember the number, but I do remember I
19.
called it Electric Drifterloo 2.
I noticed that. That's a pretty great start to that, honestly. And
'Cause
I already have to plug my laptop in.
that sneaky boy is up to something. But yeah, other than I don't think there's a whole lot going on in Destiny this week, right, guys? Pretty late news week.
Yeah, this is probably gonna be like a quick 20-minute show, and then we can get on with our lives.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. God, there's so much to talk about.
Oh my god, yeah.
Apparently, things happened. I'm out of the loop.
Yeah. I was the only one that got to see the live event today, which is
Too much
unfortunate.
grind, not enough loot.
I saw it.
Oh, you saw it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I just turned on my Xbox while I was getting ready today, and yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was-
Okay, I'll start off the top of this pod by just saying to anybody who's listening, we're going to be going over the most recent teasers that dropped this week, and as well as the public event, and like theories on the upcoming story. So if y'all want to watch those for yourselves or anything like that, might want to skip this episode for now and come back after you've watched that.
Yeah.
Just
Go
a heads
listen to
up.
one of our other episodes. Go and listen to the Lore Mind episode if you haven't already. The first two episodes covering the Black Armory papers.
Yeah.
That'll give you a good 40 minutes worth of content to listen to there.
Or you can follow my live tweets that aren't going to be happening because I'm going to be too busy grinding. But hey, we're going to be doing the hashtag Starlight Grind today.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. So I guess I should also mention
podcast with the back of Starlight's head as our guest.
It's a beautiful head. That's why I shaved it.
Exactly. No, it does look good actually.
Yeah, Starlight is he'll be slightly distracted this week because he is grinding his season pass levels at the moment, right as we speak.
just getting to level 90 today, and then we're going to cap it off tomorrow. But yeah. In order to do that properly, I do need to get to 90 today, which means take a back seat, camera.
Yeah.
Literally a back seat, because it's like I'm driving right now. This is a race car chair.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to be talking about TWAB, and then here come the spoilers. We're going to be talking about the teaser that revealed that Eris was on Europa, as well as Drifter was
spoilers!
there.
I haven't seen that.
And the Almighty getting shot down by Rasputin today.
Craziness.
But before we get to all the important stuff, let's start off with Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, catch a tiger by his toe. If you always let him go, Eeny, Mo. Okay, Starlight, how was your week?
Shush, grinding.
I was about to ask. I was about to expect him to say it's like, Newt, how's your week? But no, thanks, Newt.
Good. This has been my last week. I have been making lots of food ahead of time whenever I'm not gaming. I'm currently working on some carnitas, which are super delicious. I've been I shout out to the Bon Appetit Test Kitchen for all your recipes.
Yeah.
You've made it super easy for me to make large amounts of food that I can just dole out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
He's on for us.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been doing that. I've been doing a ton of the grind. Up from mine up to level 84 currently. We are from what was I started at 48 at the beginning of my days off.
Yeah, so work, my dude.
84 from 48, and I think this is day 4 of grinding. Oh boy, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be grinding right now. I'm just walking around like a chicken with my head cut off.
No worries,
I'm just walking around with a hand cannon. Anyway,
you focus and switch to Cole whenever you want.
So anyway, long story short, I made 15 million bells in the stock market. I've been working a ton. I've been actively following the civil unrest that's going on, rightfully so, down in the States, which deserves more talking time than I'm giving it right now. But we'll get to that later.
We will be touching on that at some point in the episode.
And my path remains undiscovered from what? Tell me.
Oh,
anyway.
That's the Xenophage quest line.
Shush! Don't spoil it for me. So yeah, that's pretty much been my day. It's especially because of what my job is and everything that my life's about. It's really important for me to follow everything like that. And even then, I am not as up to date as I should be, and I'm sure that any one of a number of our listeners could school me on the topic. But
we're
that's
getting
not
into a
what this
rabbit
is,
hole.
that's not what this is about. Anyway, hey Colt, how you doing? What's going on? How's your life?
Hey, Starlight.
Nice headband, you weirdo.
It's fun and it's summery and it's my favorite color. So shut up.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a nice orange for those who aren't watching this live.
Audio friendly podcast only.
Audio friendly podcast, exactly. No, it's been a pretty good week. Not really a terrible lot to talk about, really. Started playing Jedi Fallen Order, which has been a
attaboy. What color lightsabers you using, bud?
Green, actually.
It's an important question. It separates the men from the babes.
Well, I mean, obviously, if you follow Star Wars lore at all, you know, blue lightsaber means you're a very skilled swordsman. Green lightsaber means you're very connected with the Force, and red is, well, for obvious reasons.
What does purple mean?
And
purple
means you have a lot of pull with the director.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, purple means you're Samuel L. Jackson and nobody else.
Yeah.
I'm tired of these motherfucking clothes. This motherfucking arena.
Yeah, so I'm running around with a green lightsaber, a green double-bladed lightsaber. I might add. I just yeah, that's pretty sweet.
You get double-bladed lightsabers in Star Wars? What?
I know, right? It's crazy. I've been playing Destiny. Honestly, I've been ranking up my hunter actually because my I've done everything that I can on my Titan, and he's currently sitting pretty at 1021 light level. Of course, including the Warmind Kenjali seasonal artifact. But yeah, no, my hunter is getting good. What else? So what did I do today? I went out on a big hike with a couple friends earlier today. That's why I kind of look a little bit disheveled right now. And earlier today, this morning, actually, my dad actually called me and mentioned that he had listened to the first couple episodes of Loremind, which was yeah, I was pretty happy about that. And he said that he was very much reminded. I reminded him of his mother, so my grandmother, who used to be an opera singer.
Oh.
In the way that I was like projecting my voice and everything, he actually encouraged me to get into contact with a voice coach. So I sent her an email this morning, and I got got an email back at some point when I was on this big hike, and I haven't opened it yet. But your boy might be getting voice lessons pretty soon here.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Enunciate. You must speak with gravitas.
Well,
I can't.
You know what I've always said.
You always have time for another voice lesson?
It's a shit joke, but you have the face for radio.
Jesus Christ.
Oh.
All right, loading into the Scarlet Keep so I can pay attention to you guys.
What's new? What's Newt?
Oh, that's good. I don't think we've said that before, though, right?
No, we haven't. I know. I'm a genius.
What is new with me? I guess the biggest news. Well, okay, there's a couple things. So, hey, Ginger Giggles in the chat.
Yo, what up?
Thank you for
I don't have any of my normal windows up.
Yeah.
Because I was focusing on the grind, but I'm gonna pull up Twitch just so I can chat with Ginger in between my strikes. And anyone else who happens to join us, but obviously it's only for Ginger.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah, my week. So I'm kind of like half back to work now. It's a little awkward. Just like there's not a whole ton of work to be done, but there's enough that they're like, hey, come in. There's this install right near your house that needs to be done. So that's what I've been doing. It's kind of funny because I'll just I don't care if people know what my job is. So I install cabinets, and
hey, same here.
Yeah, and so that involves a lot of like getting down and standing back up and crouching down and standing back up and crouching down and standing back up and crouching down and standing back up. I think it probably works out to about
4 days.
It's probably like a squat a minute, like not like exactly, but like by the end of the day, it averages out to about a squat a minute.
But when you get really tired, you can just do the bend and snap, right?
Yeah.
Bend and snap.
That's a great way to slip a disc out of place in your back.
Also to get men. Take notes.
Ginger, actually. Yeah, Ginger, we work together. We work at the same. We work at the same company.
Yeah. But so that means
Viva
that
cabinet fabrication.
at the end of the 4 days of my work, which I hadn't done in about 6 weeks, like honestly, like every time I went to go number 2 on the toilet, it was like a risk that I wasn't gonna be able to stand back up again.
Yeah, right.
Like my legs are so fucking sore. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of Destiny, trying to save up my bounties. It's kind of the first time I've ever done that. Is get my bounties prepared for the new season so I can level up my artifact as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing the same thing. It's going to be really interesting to see how much that affects the level up process, and I wonder if you collect more weekly bounties than daily bounties, or if that's even possible. Um, if it would affect it, I would assume it would affect it more. Like weekly bounties probably give more. Well, they definitely give more experience.
Yeah.
So
As a master of the oh no,
I saw that. That was absolutely amazing. You just yeeted yourself right off a ledge, and
Don't worry, I only lost 3 kills on my auto rifle progression, but those are 3 kills that could cost me the grind. We take this seriously here, folks.
Other than that, just been paying attention to the teasers coming out and watched the event in the tower this morning. And that's about it.
Can't wait to talk about that. Actually, that's a pretty good segue into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we? Do you want to go over? Do you want to go over the TWAB first, or shall we go over the teasers and everything that's come out?
Let's just get the TWAB out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah, and I haven't read it yet, as per fucking usual.
Yeah, I skimmed it. Probably should have done more, but okay, everybody, we'll meet you over on the TWAB page. Ready, set.
Fuck, I hate you all.
It actually looks so good on stream. Right, yeah, Ginger? Like, that looks pretty fucking amazing. Anyways.
It sounds like shit for the audio, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's worth it. Okay, this week at Bungie for the 4th of June. Season of the Worthy is ready for departure. Before we talk about anything else, we'd like to maintain your focus on the events unfolding around the world. You may have seen demonstrations in your town, or like many of us here, down the street from the place you call home. Okay, so this is their little blurb. When words are not enough, only action can bring about change. Taking a stand against systemic racism, injustice, and prejudice is everyone's responsibility, and it begins with education and engagement. Here's a list of suggested organizations that we encourage you to visit and donate to: BlackLivesMatter.com, ShowingUpForRacialJustice.org, AntiRacismCenter.com, EJI.org, ColorLines.com. We at Bungie are making a commitment to stand up on behalf of our Black community, including our players, developers, fans, and neighbors. Racial injustice surrounds us, and we need to help create positive change. Bungie is making financial contributions to these organizations and matching the donations made by any of the people on our team. This will not be our only contribution to the fight for justice in our country and globally. We have a platform, and we plan to use it. Black Lives Matter. So like I said, we'll talk about that for our personal opinions on it later on, because that's important. And then I give links to each of those websites. Support does not end with a single statement or action. We'll continue to use our games and our shared voice to make the world a better place. We hope you'll join supporting these efforts by visiting the following resources noted above and more by getting directly involved. Yeah. This week sorry?
I was gonna say, like, yeah, if people want to see exactly what they're offering, then yeah, they can check out the TWAB.
Yeah. This week also kicks off Pride Month. If you hadn't seen the at Bungie store announcement, our Pride pins are back in stock. I am going to buy one this time because they look fucking amazing.
Right? They're slick.
Yeah, they're really cool. They're kind of like a fist holding a lightning bolt in front of like a pride flag coloring. I definitely recommend checking out the TWAB, right? Just to look at it.
The Bungie emblem. Yeah, it's the Bungie emblem. Yeah.
The sales benefit the It Gets Better project, which inspires people across the globe to share their stories and remind the next generation of LGBTQIA plus youth that hope is out there. You can snag it from the Bungie store or the Bungie store EU if you're in the EU. I do like this. So our pride pin was specifically designed to include black and brown stripes in an effort to be inclusive and show support for people of color within that community. In that spirit, we want to continue our support for all intersectional communities, including LGBTQIA plus individuals who are also part of the Black community, currently fighting against racial oppression, demanding justice and equality. And you also, I didn't read this before. If you purchase a pin, you receive a code for an emblem, which is also very cool looking. We'll continue sharing Bungie initiatives to support the LGBTQIA plus communities throughout the month of June, so stay tuned. Our commitment to racial justice is just getting started, so you can expect to hear more soon. Okay. So this TWAB is a little bit older than what we're recording, so this next little bit is a little bit out of date. Within Destiny 2, you maybe have been watching the approach of the Almighty. You're itching to see the conclusion of the season, but you're also starting to hear whispers of what's coming next. Join us on Tuesday, June 9th at 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time to learn about the future of Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought they were going to talk about the Almighty there, actually. So that's still coming up at the time that we record this.
So we have to. Yeah. They're doing a live stream? Is that correct? At 9 a.m.?
It's like a live. I can't remember did they say the name of what they call it here? No.
Yeah.
They have a word for it, but it's like basically talking about what's coming up next, kind of.
Yeah. It's going to be like a Vidoc essentially, but it's like a live Vidoc. Vidoc? I don't know however you pronounce it.
Just a video documentary? Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, video document actually.
Oh, well then. Sorry, focusing on grind.
That was weak.
I also feel obligated to say that I really I'm gonna put down my controller when we start to talk about the social unrest when we get back to it at the end of the cast. But for now, I don't mean to show disrespect to the movement or to what's happening. It's literally just how the TWAB is rolling out, and I haven't looked over it, so I didn't know what was coming. But I will make an effort to just put everything down.
Hey, Starlight, shut up and get back to your grind.
You know what? Some things are more important than the grind.
That's true. No, I'm not saying that they're not. Oh god, I'm just gonna shut up.
There we go. See,
hey, Starlight, have you seen the teasers?
I have seen the screenshots from the teasers.
Okay.
And I've seen the memes from the teasers, which
Cole?
Arguably is the most important part.
Ding!
So,
have you seen the teasers? I've watched them.
Oh yeah.
Of course. Okay. I thought maybe we'd want to.
An amateur?
I thought maybe we would want to watch them when we get to the end of the TWAB, but Starlight is a little too busy anyways. So, okay.
Starlight got problems.
Preview 2.9.0 update 2.9.0 will become available next week. It's a nice round number.
2. Oh, that we're hitting the 2s now. I mean, we were already in the 2s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all. I meant to be excited about.
Is that how numbers work?
Yeah. A few TWABs back, we talked about the future of Eververse and how we're making changes to some reward structures to better balance gameplay rewards. The following changes will become available next week. Legendary armor ornaments. As noted in a previous TWAB, we have shifted the Season 11 armor offering to be a gameplay reward for aspirational content.
Oh, okay. So that is Season 11 that they're rolling this out.
Yeah.
Sweet.
The Season of Opulence Intrepid ornament sets are returning to the storefront. Season Pass. Added an additional 2,300 bright dust to the Season Pass. That's a good idea, I think.
I'm into that.
Yeah, I think everybody's pretty chill with that. It's not the most important thing. But...
Oh my god, he's turning in all his bounties on
85. We just hit level 85, people.
Nice.
And we are well on our way to 86.
Bright Dust purchases added a flare section to feature shaders and spawn effects. Highly requested items from previous seasons will once again be available.
Vespulator. Give me my fucking Vespulator, Destiny. That's all that's all I've been asking for almost a year now. God.
Hey, Destiny, you know what I really, really want? Can you make these guys count as kills, please? Because they don't.
The guys in the
and
the Scarlet Keep on
like
the
the static The static enemies in the Scarlet Keep do not count towards bounties, which is bullshit because I have to waste ammo on them.
You don't have to.
I mean, if I want to kill them, I need to use ammo on them.
I
That's
see,
how
yeah.
bullets work.
We will once again communicate Season 11 silver-only items at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
We're expecting to have an update later in Season 11 on further changes to Bright Dust acquisition. Sandbox. The Powerful Friends armor mod will no longer stack if multiple copies of this mod are equipped. The mods will provide no bonus stats.
Yeah. Do we
with
have
a
to go over...
With a plus 20 to mobility, it would be insane that it's stacked for this long. I would have swore they would have done that as a hot fix, not a full patch.
Yeah. So in case you're wondering, Powerful Friends granted plus 20 mobility, which players could leverage to get 3 stack columns to the max of 100 points. And then there's a couple other mods, but that's the most important one. Raid rewards. This is important for a lot of people. Following raid exotics now have increased drop chances. 1,000 voices, anarchy, always on time, and then they forgot to add it in here, but Teraba is also receiving.
Oh, so the Teraba is affected by it.
Yes, they said they just forgot to add it in. Drop chance begins at 10% and increases to a max of 50% over 20 clears.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. I straight up thought they just forgotten about the Teraba.
Yeah, like, everybody was like, okay.
I like that everyone just kind of took in a stride, like, oh yeah, okay, sure, Teraba's not being affected by this.
Yeah. Trials rewards, additional masterwork material rewards now drop at 3, 5, and 7.
Really?
Just a bunch of extra rewards basically in trials now to kind of make it more.
Oh wait, trials,
more,
right?
Worthwhile. Yeah, this is. Sorry.
I want to hop into some trials with you guys soon because we actually haven't played, the three of us.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'm busy.
Okay, that's fair.
That is very true.
I'm so offended.
All right, so this is pretty big news. So Bungie is introducing a custom controller mapping ability or setting to Destiny 2. So players can create a custom controller layout by going to the controller section of the settings screen and choosing button layout. A custom option is available in the list.
May I say one thing first?
Yes.
I was just looking at the viewers in the who are watching us right now. I just want to give a shout out to Commander Root, who's watching us. That's a fan-fucking-tastic name. Gigantic reference to the Artemis Fowl series. So good on you.
Wait, you can see the viewers?
Hell yeah, I can.
Wait, you can read?
What? I did not know that was a thing. Oh, users in chat, right?
I didn't know you could read.
I totally forgot it.
Wait, it's a bot? No, don't do this to me, Ginger. It can't be a bot.
It's a very common bot.
Couldn't you let me have this one, Ginger?
Well, now.
Everybody has a bot viewer sometimes.
Well, anyways, now that Cole's heart is broken.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces.
The only thing about this is I don't see a separate button place for throwable melee.
Bring me Thanos!
Newt, so what you're going to want to do, if you want a separate button for throwable melee, you got to get yourself one of these with the paddles, and then
but it's still
snap it to whatever you want.
It's still it's still connected to your melee button.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not spending $200 on a controller, Starlight.
Also, just learn how to use the fucking claw.
One now.
Hey, do y'all want to see how I hold my controller?
This is a Gen 1.
God, please don't tell me you're still working with the claw.
First of all,
it's so unnatural.
Gotta get the paddle going,
I used to do bumper jumper, so I had my index fingers on the bumpers, but then I learned how to do the claw. So I've got my index finger on the buttons, my right finger on the bumper, and my ring finger on the trigger. So
I use what's called the casual grip with the expensive remote, where I just grab it, and then wherever my fingers land, that's how I hold it.
Sounds like a waste of money to me.
I mean, that's what the bumpers are for. They make up for the waste of money.
Do they? Do they though?
Okay,
But
tell that to my 200 something kills during that strike that I posted.
Actually, that is pretty nuts. Yeah, where the guy told you to stop. What was it? Stop being
Jesus,
trash.
I'll go into that. I
That
can
was
talk
hilarious.
about that all day, but we can get back to that in a bit.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
wonder if we should name drop the fucker.
No, I'm not gonna name drop the guy. He's
Definitely not.
obviously too much of a snowflake to
bad
handle
idea.
Yeah, what's he gonna do?
Yeah. All right, so halfway through 85.
So here's the thing: is people seem to think that you can. I don't know. It didn't seem like people really realize that you can't connect your throwable melee to a separate button, or maybe they read somewhere that you can. I don't see any suggestion of that. So there is you can press and hold, which
that
can
that would
change
make a little
things.
bit more sense.
So you can map multi-button on PC, right? Like you can
Yeah.
have it like be like crouch is either control or
Yeah, or whatever you
K
want.
if you want.
Yeah.
Like
Well, that's what they're bringing to console there, Starlight. Is like you're
Yeah.
allowed to map anything to any of the buttons on your controller, which I think this is a pretty cool move that Bungie's bringing into the game.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily going to say it's a long time coming because we've had different controller schemes for the longest time, but I think it's a really good addition that they're putting in, and it's I think it's already being received very, very well.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah, there's no way that it's a bad or detrimental addition to the game.
Maybe it'll help all you filthy casuals get on my fucking level.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot how cocky Starlight gets when he plays the Starlight grind.
I have my elite controller, and just the way that I say the word elite.
Elite controller.
I'm sorry, I'm flexing my
you
controller.
might want to check out the chat real quick there.
Wait, just check your DMs and say yes or no to the reverse. Oh, okay. I'll do that after this.
Cool.
Jesus,
okay.
I did not notice how shiny my head was until I looked at the
It's
Twitter.
like an egg.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty much closing time. Oh, last call. It's pretty much closing time. You don't have to go home, but you should definitely get your triumphs done before the servers go offline next Tuesday. Player support has a full roundup. This is their report. Okay, when season worthy ends, there will be a number of items, activities, and triumphs that will no longer be available. Some of these include Season of Worthy Season Pass and any available bonuses, Season of Worthy Seal and Almighty title. Oh, please, so this is important. If you unlock the Almighty title, you must claim it and equip it at some point before the season ends, or else you will not be able to access it after the season ends. I would assume that they're planning
all seals.
I'm assuming they would plan to fix that at some point, but
that's been true with all seals.
Is that
like
exactly,
even with Savior, you had to redeem it, like redeem.
Oh,
for lack
that's
of a better
right.
term.
Yeah,
you had to redeem it.
Yeah.
It's true with all seasonal seals because they need to cycle out the old triumphs, and if you haven't claimed the seal in the triumphs, it'll read it as though you haven't completed it. But
yeah, so just make sure you equip the title if you unlock it. Access to the Easy Moon and IO bunkers, obviously. The War Mine seasonal artifact, the Seraph Tower public event, and the Fourth Horseman and Fellwinter's Light quests. So if you have not completed those,
just finish those.
Go do those. You don't want to wait. It could be like another fucking year before you have access to those. So, update. Okay, so at 9 a.m. or here I'll say at 9:45 a.m. Pacific time on June 9th is when Destiny 2 will be taken offline. And that's when the whole new update is going to be started. So, again, 9:45 a.m. on June 9th. That's Pacific Standard Time.
And
so I'll have 3 hours after my night shift to complete any errant levels and then switch over my characters, because what I've been doing is I've just been letting all of my exotic engrams sit so that I can go onto my hunter or my warlock and then just be like, I'll take that, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah, I did the same thing with my hunter. Like I just let my Titan do the work, then my hunter's like, yoink.
Yeah. Smart.
Hey, upcoming resolved issues. Below is a list of issues that will be resolved in the upcoming update. This is a good one.
Racism?
Polaris Lance's perfect 5th explosive shot is no longer being cancelled by a subsequent shot.
I mean, it doesn't just say racism.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't read that until now. I knew Cole would be excited about that.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I can. Yes, I can start using my Polaris Lance again, baby.
Dude Marcher's linear actuators perk will now work after triggering on yellow bar enemies. Players on Steam will no longer have their FPS locked to 30 FPS when relaunching the game. Offline players and clans will no longer have their names set to offline. Warlock's Celestial Fire melee ability will now trigger the Winter's Guile Warlord Sigil perk. Then
Okay,
we got
cool.
movie of the week. Apparently it's a good one, but I haven't watched it yet. Ain't gonna lie.
Wine, please sponsor us. This would be a fantastic sponsorship to get. But anyway, I'm drinking a delicious summer haze. It's a honey wheat beer.
Yes, Hoyne would definitely want to sponsor a show that is listened to in largely America, the Netherlands,
You'd be
Australia.
surprised, man.
Yeah, let's be real. The Americans do not have a good taste in beer.
No, they really do not.
But you know what
Well,
is good
that's good
taste in
summer,
beer? Hoyne Brewing.
True that. I actually like. That's not even like a shameless plug. Like I genuinely.
Oh no,
like
shameless plug 100% of the way.
I mean, they're a local brew. They're a local brewery. I'm not going to say they're small anymore because they're worldwide at this point. I think anyway. I know they. Anyway,
All right, that's the end of
it's
the
still
swap.
on mainland. So that's worldwide, right? Oh, that's the end of the 12. Okay, cool. Yeah. So let's talk about let's talk about those teasers.
Yeah, so I guess do you want to talk about the Eris Morn one first? Because
We might as well. Yeah, we might as well go in release order.
Yeah. So I'll jump in and start, and then we can snowball off of that. So first of all, when I first saw it, I was really hoping it was, I'm gonna butcher this name, Enceladus or Enceladus, however you want to pronounce it. Enceladus. Because that's where the Deepstone Crypt is, which would have been super cool to see. But then people were like, "We think it's Europe, but we're not really sure." And then the Drifter teaser came out, and it was like, "Oh, okay, it's Europa."
Yeah.
But that's still fine. Like what? Like fuck, it looks pretty awesome. There are a few details that I find interesting. Like, so everybody's wondering. So I guess we can each give kind of our theory on Eris Morn's hand effect. So for any audio listeners, again, reminder, spoilers coming up here. So so Eris is on Europa. She's walking through the snow. She puts up her hand to protect her face, and there's like a strange kind of white warping effect that goes on around her hand. Kind of like, it almost looks like she's holding a jellyfish in front of her.
Jellyfish.
So people are trying to guess what that is. Ginger Giggles in chat is excited.
I know, right?
That we have Netherlands listeners.
No,
hey,
it's like giant shout out to our Netherlands listeners. What's up, folks?
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just gonna really quickly throw this in here. I know it has nothing to do with the lore. People are gonna be annoyed probably, but so also I think this is important for you to know just for personal safety. So when you listen to podcasts on Spotify and Imagine Music too, people who upload that can see which country you're from.
Yeah.
Which isn't a huge deal, but like me personally, I'm like very like, personal security. Like I don't like my personal info to be out there. So I just thought people should know that. But if you're proud of like, if you listen to us from like say Ireland, and you're like, fuck yeah, like I want that to be known that there are Irish listeners, like I'd be happy to be like, hey, big shout out to the person this week who dropped by our podcast and listened to us, who's from Ireland. So I don't know if you have any feedback on that, tweet at us at Podcast Destiny. And
it would be the first time anybody ever tweeted at us, so
sorry, I'll clarify it a little bit. So it doesn't give me a name or any personal information or anything like that. It's just like, hey, you had 2 listeners from Ireland this week.
Yeah.
So
which is really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool that we're able to see where people are in the world are listening to us. For God's sake, I don't know why you people are listening to us, but we appreciate it.
What do you mean, you people?
People of the world.
There you go.
Oh, thank God.
But yeah, so
anyways,
I just thought I'd throw that out there.
I see.
Okay, sorry. So why don't we start with our lore mind, I guess, actually. Cole,
sure.
You have thoughts on the teaser and Eris's hand and all that?
Yeah, so we'll just start with Eris's stuff, then we'll get to the Drifter. But yeah, for Eris, I saw a couple theories online saying how the power effect that she had in her hand when she reached it out looked very similar to a charge of light from the blind well. It's sort of there, but I don't know if she, because we do know that she talks to the Awoken Queen. She's an agent of the Awoken Queen. I don't think she like the Awoken Queen has given her any powers though. I'm actually gonna kind of pat myself on the shoulder here, but I personally think that this is a shout out to that she has some new powers. And where'd she get those powers? From the pyramid ship, like I talked about last episode. So I think this is us
Fucking
starting to see
speedrunners.
these new powers that she manifested from that statue. So we'll see.
Sorry, there's probably
So
good audio in the back for a second. I just
Sorry,
watched
guys.
how
the
dare you?
teasers.
It's very frustrating when you run into get some hella kills because there's a big group of enemies and then someone's speed running in front of you and they despawn and become immortal.
Right.
Oh, well.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so I just think I don't know, like there wasn't a whole lot to go off of honestly, but it was a power that we hadn't seen before. Also, Eris did not have her Ahamkara bone or whatever the hell it is that she has in her glowing
Yeah.
belt. Excuse me.
Burp in the chat.
Burp in the oh yeah, sure, I'll toss it in there. But yeah,
I
it's
I
gonna
do
be
I do
really
think that's
curious.
interesting
Yeah.
because I think in a lot of ways you could consider the Ahamkara bone as like very useful, but something of like a weakness or like it's
definitely,
like a
yeah.
monkey's paw, right? Like
Yeah.
you use it to get a result, but something else gets fucked up because of that result.
Yeah.
Um,
And so I don't know if she's just got it tucked away in her back pocket or if she's replaced it entirely, but we didn't see it in the teaser.
yeah.
And it's pretty clear evidence that Eris is doing something new and she's using new powers. So I'm excited for that one way or another. We'll hop over into
sorry.
the Drifter though, the Drifter's teaser.
Yeah,
Unless you had some previous.
yeah. Why don't we each you and I can give our thoughts on the teasers.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
there's a few things in the Eris teaser that is interesting. First of all, I find it interesting how there's all these. You can see under the ice. There's like this red glow.
Yeah.
When she's walking across it, which I think, you know, what is the thing that we have been dealing with very often that has a red glow usually connected with it, you know, Rasputin. So I almost wonder
my old Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Oh, rest in pieces.
So I almost wonder if there's going to be a Rasputin connection because you can see these cracks in the snow and there's red light coming up from underneath it. But it could also be something else, who knows. But I think that's definitely like, I mean, it's something, right? Like,
yeah.
And people also say, and I agree, in the background in the shots, sometimes you can see what looks like structures, like straight edges.
I saw a Reddit post pointing that out.
Yeah, which I agree. Like, I think there are some of them are like buildings. Like some of them definitely look like buildings. So there's probably some outposts there. But one of them, they were saying it looks like buildings, but it almost kind of looks like a giant spine to me as well. So it'd be neat if there was like a different, like an ice worm, like the how there's the worms in the
didn't we already have that though?
In the Methane Sea, yeah.
And in the Methane Sea, and so
wasn't Zol an ice worm?
Zol? No.
No, Zol was a worm god, but he was frozen by Rasputin.
I was just gonna say, I'm just like, no, you're incorrect. Zol was an ice worm, and I was gonna make a joke, but then y'all fucking ruined it. Okay, fine.
Okay, sorry. Starlight. Yes, you're correct. Zol was an ice worm.
Yes, he was because of being shut up. It doesn't work anymore. You ruined it either way.
I put it up on a little tea batter for you, like no, not tea batter. What's a tea ball stick? And you just
don't worry, you'll get there. Take your time.
Tea batter.
A tea batter. Fuck me.
Is that like
Ginger? Yeah, like Siva. The red glow could be Siva as well.
It could be anything, honestly.
So I really like, because I was one of the people that thought that initially, like when she held up her hand, I was like, that looks like one of the charges of light. So I like the idea. I agree, it could not be, and it is like, it looks like it, but kind of not, sort of. And so I agree that it is like, maybe it isn't, but I think it's a cool idea because she works with the queen. Like, it kind of makes sense that, Mara would be giving her technology and powers, to because this is all, Eris is really working for Marasov to, like, because Marasov has this huge plan to save humanity and the Awoken from both
Supposedly,
the
yeah.
Traveler and the Darkness Doritos. So I really like that idea. I agree that there might be some more solid theories out there, but I think it's my favorite still, just because I don't know. I like the connections made by it.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. We'll see on Tuesday what's going on.
Okay. And then so after that, there came out another teaser that doesn't really give as much to go on. Well, I guess it does solidify that it's on Europa, and it reveals that the Drifter is going to be involved in this whole situation.
Yes. Still, in my opinion, probably the most interesting character in all of Destiny, the current Destiny lore, anyway.
Well, do you guys remember back when we were discussing like what it was gonna look like to have like if we were to get like the emissaries of the darkness, like as a team, like you know how we go to like Banshee and we go to Zavala to get our bounties. Speaking of bounties,
right?
Motherfucking 86, baby.
Had a boy.
And I'm about to die because they left on the elevator without me. Hold the door, I said hold the door. I could see you pushing the door close button from where I was.
Hodor.
You don't get to lie to me.
Hodor.
And hold the door. Anyway. Yes. So what I originally said when I was like, if we were to have like a Team Dark, Team Light, and they let us kind of like choose quests based on like who we wanted to align ourselves with, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
I said Eris, Drifter, Mara. So we've got 2 out of 3.
Right, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
Well, it's on tape. We can go back to it.
No, that's no, I believe you, man. That's where it gets pretty cool though, because I've been going through the invitations of the 9 recently, like finally working through those quest steps. And
also, can we just say, speaking of the 9, really upset that we didn't get to see like a planetary destruction and see like I was excited for the potential ramifications of having the 9 become the 8, because the gravitational body that like gave life to one of the 9 dies, and therefore the 9 dies.
I think we might still get something like that. You never know, because the 9 haven't really been touched on since the Reckoning, honestly. Season of the
fair enough.
Excuse me, but people have been pointing out that in the invitations of the 9, and I think I actually just recently worked through that cutscene in the last couple of weeks, as they mentioned that how does it go? There are only 3 people that have escaped the 9's understanding of how the universe works.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, so as far as the 9 are concerned, okay, give me a quick second here to look something up.
Is the emissary one of them?
No, she's not, because the emissary was altered by the 9.
Yeah.
She was a light bearer, but they altered her to as a tool of their own. But 3 people of their own volition, without the 9 influencing them,
right,
have managed to break paracausality, for lack of a better term. Shit.
Okay, well, I'll go into my kind of points of the Drifter teaser while you're looking up that stuff. So one thing I find interesting, so it doesn't look like he's leaving from the derelict. He's in a small ship, and behind it is a much bigger, it almost looks like he's leaving from below like a thruster or something. Like that's what I'm like, people, I feel like nobody's talking about that, but like, what the fuck is this ship? Like, where did he get it? Who gave him that technology? It's huge. Oh man, what if there's something in orbit around Europa? That would be cool.
Maybe, yeah. I still think it might be the derelict, honestly, because that ship is gigantic.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
you just can't see very much of it, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
And then so it's just him leaving and going to Europa. I really liked how they used like what you think you're looking at the ship upside down as it leaves, and then but it like rotates the camera, so now the whole field of vision is flipped, which is cool because in space, there is no up and down. So I thought that was a cool touch. He still got his coin there. Sorry.
Ding. Yeah.
Um,
It was. Oh, it was really cool. Honestly, it's a great teaser.
yeah, I almost wonder. He's always got that coin, so I wonder if it's going to come into play a little
Time to
bit
get
more.
smashy.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Like-
I think it's more so just like to confirm that it is in fact the
I
Drifter.
I think it. Yeah, I think that's why they did it, is like be like, hey, like beat you over the head with a bat labeled Drifter.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is the Drifter levels of
Smash.
but-
just get the indent in the head.
yeah. But why couldn't it be both, right? Like he's always got it, and I've never really thought about that before. Like
Yeah.
We'll
see. Yeah.
Anyways,
but
yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, no, you go.
I
ahead.
was
Sound
just
like
gonna
you
say
had
that
something
was
else to say.
basically the end of my thoughts on it.
No, okay, well,
Well,
there you go.
There's
I'll take it from here, Newt. Sorry, go ahead, Starlight.
sorry, there was like
I'll
one
take it from
really
here, Starlight.
yeah, there was like this one really small thing that I think, because I haven't seen the full trailers or the full teasers rather, because I've been grinding and working. The one thing that I thought would be super interesting is because like Bungie loves motifs, like Bungie loves having like literary nods or like
Oh, yeah.
nods, like just the like that's where half of the lore comes from. It's fantastic.
They're
But-
just a bunch of giant fucking nerds.
Yeah.
And I
So
love it.
yeah. So we've got like Eris. Well,
Who
we've
is
got-
a
we've got
Canada.
Eris.
Yeah.
And we've got Drifter with his mask. And so
Oh.
someone commented just like don't be surprised when Eris Morn shows up wearing fucking earmuffs, because we've got like the see no evil, like speak no evil, hear no evil.
Hear no evil. Yeah.
And it would be like that would be a really cool thing about them, like looking like they're turning a blind eye to like the evil of the darkness to harness its powers for their own. And
That's
who knows? No,
brilliant,
like I have no
Wow.
like I'm open to the craziness of where Destiny could be going, and I think it would just be like just like a slight nod that would be very much in tune with things that Bungie's done in the
Mhm.
past.
Marasov just shows up with gigantic pink fluffy earmuffs.
Honestly, that would be in tune. That would be so in tune.
It'd track. It's like, yep, this makes sense. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, like everything that you
Shax busts out, just like, I smelled you.
My God.
There's nothing about smelling no evil, son.
True that. Yeah.
Anyway,
Shax is the purest of all of us, though.
the Battle of Marasov's Twilight Cap.
still fucking funny. But that does actually transition pretty well into what I was talking about earlier. Is there is it's it's called the Hourglass and the Blade. In the first invitation of the 9, this is a post on our Destiny lore by you Milkerton. So shout out to Milkerton. It's posted about a year ago. And it says, in the first invitation of the 9, we got a rather interesting quote from the emissary. So not from the 9 themselves, but the emissary. And it goes as follows. There are 3 who have transcended their design. The first, an hourglass counting down with infinite patience. The second, a forgotten blade sharpened anew. We don't know for sure what these refer to, but I have a few ideas and we'll share them below. Yada, yada, yada.
No, we actually have a very concrete understanding of what the first one is.
Exactly. Well,
No, it's me and Newt waiting for you to finish with this lore tab. Build it.
fuck, I'm gonna smack you so hard. Also, Newt, don't forget about Ginger there with the
Ginger in the chat.
Ginger in the chat. Fuck, that was actually really well done. So first one, the blade reforged anew. That's very clearly Eris Morn. Like she reforged herself in the Hellmouth and kind of went against the sword logic, went against like the light. Like she abandoned her light in favor of the Ahamkar, like left her ghost essentially to die, as a choice to survive. Now the hour and the third one, the invitations of the 9 go on to say that the Drifter is the new person that has transcended their design, and which is pretty cool. The lore tabs go in to explain that it is in fact the Drifter they're talking about. The one that the people are still kind of hung up on is the hourglass counting down with infinite patience. There are 2 theories on that. One is either Marasov, who has been sitting on this plan ever since Oryx killed her.
Also, she was in her own dimension essentially for 2,000 some odd years.
Exactly, infinite patience.
Yeah.
It's either Marasov or it's the Exo Stranger.
Yeah.
My
Because
initial
the
thought,
Exos-
my initial thought was just because, my initial thought was Saint, like because he meets us and then he waits for us to like essentially come and like get him out
Yeah.
of the forest, right? But like that's a from a non-lore mind perspective, so I
Mhm.
defer to your judgment.
Well, I would agree with that, except Saint is he's very solidly set in his ways, and Saint follows the rules of paracausality, and Saint follows his own rules. Like he fights for the good of humanity. He fights to defend the people of the last city, even when that means taking the fight to a literal countless number of Vex. He's still working within the laws of space and time, whereas these other three aren't really. The Drifter, even then, the Drifter, he's breaking the law of, I can't remember what it was, but he's making his own destiny essentially, and we still don't exactly know what the Drifter's plan is at this point. What's up, Starlight?
Oh, just you said. I like it when they say the name of the show in the show. Hey, you can't do drugs. I'm a family guy. Ah, he said the thing. He said the thing, and you said destiny.
I have to do
Starlight.
this. I have to, or I'm not Superman 3: The Return of Justice. Yeah, so the Drifter, we're still working on that, and like the Drifter's story is still revealing itself, so we'll get to that when it reveals itself. And the Broken Blade reforged a new Eris, but the Hourglass counting down with
Ascendant
infinite patience.
Shard.
Oh, nice. It's either Marasov or it's the Exo Stranger, because like you mentioned, Starlight, the Marasov, she was the first Awoken to be created essentially, and she was there when light and dark collided and created this anomaly. Or it could be the Exo Stranger, who literally broke time. Like Elsie Bray shattered the time stream to be able to hop up like forwards and backwards in time, very much like the Vex do. But like you could argue that the Vex do the same thing as she does, but
She's a Bray, and she's also human.
she's a brain. She's working of her own.
Oh,
She's
human.
an agent. Yeah. Well, she's an agent of her own fate, essentially. Like she's not bound by any laws. She's not bound by any rules, and so she's like hopping back and forth in time, trying to fight the good fight, essentially. But we really don't know, because the last time we got any exposition on that was way back in Warmind. So anyway, I wanted to know what you guys thought of that, on whether or not it was Marasov or Elsie Bray.
Elsie Bray.
Yeah.
I think they want to save I think it would be more of a surprise for them to crest the mountain of Europa and meet up with the Exo Stranger than it would be for them to meet up with Marasov.
Yeah.
Like,
that is true.
I'd be super into it if it was the Exo Stranger.
We might actually have a nail in the coffin for what's going to be happening on Europa.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but I saw this post on Reddit once again. I can't remember what user it was, but it got me thinking, and it lines the fuck up, which actually brings me to the lore tab I wanted to talk about.
That wasn't your lore tab.
No, that was my lore tab. That was all off the top of my head right there. There's little connections that I was making. The lore tab here is really, really quick, and it relates to exactly what we're talking about here. And it's from the Sleepless rocket launcher, the legendary rocket launcher that you get from the Dreaming City. And it was added in Forsaken 2018. So the quote that goes with it is, "I see our path ahead, full of despair and hardship, and I will walk it with joy in my heart," said by Seer Ido, the original Queen's right hand. So Seer snorts and coughs as she wakes herself up from a sound sleep. "You were drooling," Mara says. She's perched in a divan nearby. There are books open all around her. She has dog-eared dozens of pages. "I was dreaming," Seer says, wiping her mouth off with the back of her hand. "I saw you on a great black triangle. You split it in two with your bare hands. And I was dead, I think." She cracks her neck with a deliciously loud pop. "Or trapped? Like in a maze, but pretty close to figuring my way out." Seer stands up to stretch. She does not mind that Mara is not listening. Let her read. "And there was another woman with you." "On the triangle," Mara murmurs. Yeah, she was helping. Then your brother showed up and..." She shakes her arms, frowning thoughtfully. The dream is already fading. "He said Tropea, or maybe it was a tropical. Anyway." And that's the end of the lore tab. So way back in 2018, they've already they already had Seer Ida with this vision of Marasov cracking a black triangle in half with her bare hands. So that's why I think it's going to be Mara that they meet up with on Europa, and I think that it's either going to be the introduction to this season or the end, like the introduction cutscene or the ending cutscene of this season of Mara shattering a pyramid ship with her own power.
I
Because
think. Oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
I'll one last thing. The reason I think that they're going to shatter a pyramid ship is because that small teaser that we got at Weekly Reset showed a pyramid ship around Saturn, but the pyramids on Rasputin's
Sensors.
sensors, yeah, had only just barely reached Titan.
I like that. I like that idea. I like the
I think
idea
it's a scout.
that everybody's assuming that that's showing where the pyramids are now,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe that's like in the past, or yeah, like there was a
No,
pyramid there in the past at some point.
I think it's a scout ship.
Yeah, or a scout ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think that like any timeline stuff is especially timeline stuff that's static and like environmental, like things that you can observe from the environment, is really up for debate, simply because I was like super proud of myself with my timeline. I'm just like, oh yeah, I got the timeline pretty much nailed down. This is great. And then I'm like walking through the towers, and then like just a random NPC is just like, 6 months ago, I was a teacher. Then the Red Legion attacked. So I'm just like, are you telling me that the entirety of Destiny 2 is taken within the time span of 6 months?
It's probably
Yeah,
just a really old voice line.
Yeah, but like, come on, anything that infers a specific timeline should be like in
Correct.
a separate folder
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
ages out. Like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
because
That's
it's
a really
in
good
the
point, yeah.
game, so we have to take it at face value. So we've had 3 Christmases in 6 months.
Oh my god, that's fucking of course. We can so it is. I can't believe I just made that connection.
What?
That the timeline in Destiny is as we as players view it because we have seasonal events.
I said that during my
Fuck.
timeline. Were you not listening? It's like you don't listen to me sometimes. Come
Yeah.
I was
on.
drifting in and out. Oh my god, I cannot believe I did not make that connection. Sorry, Starlight. Wow.
There's also
Oh,
something
thanks,
interesting.
yeah. Thanks, Mr. Man. Yeah,
Mr. Man.
Mr. Man in the chat likes my headband. Thanks.
Well, that's
Thanks,
one of
man.
you.
There was also
Yeah,
an
it's two
interesting
of us.
post on the raid secrets where someone pointed out that there is a moving wall, like a display within the last city, where there is what looks like the last wish icon that from the director,
Mm-hmm.
and also is kind of like the layout of the solar system, and so you can see there's Jupiter and what looks like Europa circling it.
Yeah, I've seen
And
that.
the last wish like icon and the Europa orbit collide perfectly. Like the planet goes right into the symbol of the last wish. So they're
Weird,
saying there might
okay.
that like the 15th wish might be on Europa, but I think maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but I think it just goes to show that
Ooh.
like there's gonna be some form of Marasov connection on Europa.
Hey, I'll take any form of Marasov.
Boom. Any form of Marasov connection, I'm all about it. Daddy Shax has entered the chat.
Yeah.
I'm in danger. Help.
Heard you was talking shit.
It's just that gif of the guy running off the high dive and just like completely T-posing with his, fists on his hips.
Oh, yeah.
Shax.
My we can get into this during in between, but I do. Speaking of Daddy Shacks, I have things that I want to talk about from the Starlight grind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's you guys already know. It's just the guy who's I can't tell if he was.
Oh
trolling
yeah,
or
okay.
not, but I just want to talk about it for funsies.
How about before that? Do we want our last little bit of ongoing storytelling? Do we want to talk about the Almighty event today?
Oh yeah, for sure. Might as well. Yeah.
And then we can get into personal stuff. So, as many of you know, today when we are recording this at 10 a.m. this morning, there was a live event, the first one in Destiny's history. I guess Bungie's history.
Yeah, I think so. Because
I think this is the first time they've
Halo-
ever done anything like that.
Halo
So
fucking have live events.
the ongoing story has been that the Almighty has been approaching the last city. The plan was for the Cabal to crash it into the last city, wipe out humanity. But we teamed up with Rasputin to launch a bunch of war sats at it to destroy it and send it off course. Long story short, very long story, very shortened. Sorry,
It involved makeshift basketball that we had to play with a bunch of Hive running around as the other team.
Yeah.
Like, you can't look at that public event and tell me that it wasn't just makeshift basketball.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
And cost a 3-point fade back. Dead miss.
But so today we saw the conclusion of that in that at 10 here we go. Let's get into it. So at 10 a.m. they said the live event was going to start. So I went to the tower and I looked at the Almighty. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Actually, it wasn't even 10 a.m. It was like fucking 9:30 because I wanted to be there early. So, and I got into...
I even told you, I'm just like, make sure you log in early because they're probably going to be dealing with increased loads because people are going to be coming out of the woodwork to watch this public event.
I even managed to get... I joined Mylan Games. I joined him in the tower because he was inviting people in, which was super fun.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we spent fucking like an hour and a half standing there.
Dude, I just imagine, like, I want somebody to make this, but it's just your character with the sheep head, fucking, photoshopped on. It's like, oh boy, I sure do love showing up on time for Bungie's first public event.
Yeah. So basically, what happened is, for about half an hour, this is a very rough estimate, but about half an hour, nothing really happened, and then for about half an hour, you could watch little red streaks slowly approaching the Almighty in the skybox.
That was my nickname in high school.
And then
Little red streak.
And then for another half hour, there started to be little explosions all over the Almighty.
Like being peppered.
Yeah. So I'm assuming those were the war sats hitting the Almighty.
Like, well, it worked on Guardians. Toss.
And then for like 5-10 minutes, the central area of the Almighty really exploded. And we're all pretty fucking fried by this point. Like,
it's been 2 hours.
We've been staring at the screen for a long ass time with very little changes going on, trying to keep ourselves entertained, which we did pretty good. It was actually pretty fun.
Yeah. Were people just playing soccer?
Not soccer, just kind of running around, doing funny emotes, trying to bug Mylan and getting in front of his view. And
oh, that's kind of for a dude being like gracious enough to share his platform with you, and then you come in and you like fuck with his stream, like really?
Yeah, but his first rule of his stream is bully Matt. So
oh, is it actually?
Okay. Yeah.
That's amazing. Giant shout out to Mylan.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun, and then we're all like, holy fuck, this is okay, like, I'm just getting real fucking tired. And then shit went off, and it was fucking amazing. So
cool.
There was a huge explosion in the sky, all around the Almighty, and then like a large part, and it was neat. You could hear sound like explosions going on. Like, you could hear sound effects, so you know it was fucking huge. And also, I guess that means that it was within our atmosphere, too.
It was in the atmosphere at that point.
So, and then after the big explosion went on, like, a big chunk of the Almighty, like, the majority of it, went tearing across the skybox, blazing, sparks flying, and sailed over the mountains, kind of behind the tower, and it landed. And then I think there was an explosion, like an impact, and then you could kind of hear something building, and then a huge fucking reaction, like, because I mean, there's a fucking black hole in the middle of that thing, so a huge explosion ripped across. It's really insanity. Cool sound effects. Like, I mean, of course, I should have realized, like, Bungie, who is so
Yeah.
fucking good with the sound effects of their game is of course going to nail the sound effects of this. But I didn't think
Yeah.
about it at the time, and it was so good. Like, and then the tower was affected by it a little bit. There was some dings on the tower.
Which, if you haven't already, you need to inspect
Yes.
to get your event specific emblem.
That's true.
Which I did, and it is really cool.
I do like the emblem too.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm a fan.
So that was the overall thing. It took a long ass time. I'm sure there were some people, or many people, who set aside time if they had a busy schedule. And they're like, 10 a.m. Okay, half an hour, right? Give or take.
I'd say so.
I'll be there at 10 a.m. I'll have my half hour free time to watch the event, and then I'll go off to work.
Boy, you're showing up on time.
And then they did not get to see it because of poor communication from Bungie. Although I've also heard that it was not supposed to go that slow. I haven't
really?
read that. Like, I haven't read that from Bungie directly, but people are saying that apparently it was supposed to be much quicker than that, but something went wrong, and so it was just really drawn out.
See, what they did is they assigned the Almighty some HP like they would any boss, and they assigned all of the war stat damage some damage so that it would take a certain amount of time. But what happened was they didn't take into account the war stat's just horrible range stat and how diminished the damage.
Yeah,
would
people
be.
were like, afterwards, were be like, "Wow, war stats are officially the worst DPS weapons in the game."
I mean,
I was just gonna say war shots are officially shotguns. Their range is garbo.
I mean, like for once, it's like if Bungie allows guns to be used once in the tower, everyone just uses hard light and fires up at the Almighty.
Yeah.
No damage fall off, baby.
So, anyways, despite how negative I sound about all that, for me personally, like, my experience was like 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was so good. I just feel
payoff,
so sorry.
The payoff was very worth it.
Yeah, I just feel so sorry for people who thought they were setting aside a good amount of time to come view it and were wrong because of either lack of communication from Bungie or some kind of error in the setup. Like, if they knew it was going to take that long, they should have said, "Hey, the startup, the preamble is at 10 a.m. But if you really want to watch some fireworks, tune in at like 11 or whatever time it was."
What they should have done is taken the Another Destiny podcast approach, where we're just like, "Hey, we're gonna stream on Thursdays, but like, if you really want to watch us, come by on Fridays or Saturdays, or maybe the following Monday."
Who the fuck knows anymore?
I really got to update all our information because
you know what, we try. Life is dynamic, and in this, like, with everything going on, shit just doesn't happen at the same pace that it used to.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty happy with how that all went down, honestly, and because I woke up hungover, for the record, and I was like, "Ugh," and I saw the message.
Must be a Tuesday.
On our, I saw the message in our group chat, and it's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, it's like the event starts at like 10 a.m." I was like, "Fuck." It's like I'd already missed that, so I assumed I had missed it. So I was like kind of surfing Reddit, and I was like, I knew, and realized that nothing had happened yet. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, might as well just hop in to like turn on my Xbox, like so that my Guardian was there, so that I can get the emblem. And I'm sitting there, I go, wow, that actually looks really sweet. And I had hopped in when it's like you could see the red streaks going towards the Almighty, and like the explosions blossoming all across it. I was like, oh, it's pretty pretty. So I went in, like I I got changed, came back. Yep, no, still a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, like what. Like went and did a couple things in my room. Went and like started brushing my teeth. I was like, it's been a while since I've looked at the screen. So I came out of my bathroom, toothbrush half out of my mouth. I'm wearing like my underwear, and that's it. And like my window open.
Definitely a Tuesday.
A main thoroughfare street in my city, and I'm sitting there, like I'm standing there in my underwear, like. And I see like an explosion happening on the Almighty, and it's like the sky goes white. And I literally went, "Holy fuck!" Paste everywhere. Like scramble to sit down, throw on my headphones on. I'm just watching this thing as it slowly starts to disintegrate and burn up in the atmosphere as it goes over the mountain range.
Sorry,
Starlight is turning in bounties, and God, it was really cool.
Yeah, I really liked it. I think for their very first live event, fucking like
It was well
Aces.
done.
Well done. Good job.
Ginger says she saw something about them delaying it as well because of the influx of players to the tower instances, causing lots of error codes.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, but it was.
I buy
it was
that.
really how like you could hear the shockwave coming. You're like, oh shit, and then boom, everyone
Yeah.
shot.
Oh yeah, and it knocked everyone back a little bit too, which was really neat effect.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I wonder because
I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah, that's
No,
okay.
no,
I
yeah,
got it
dude.
recorded, so
Well, here's the thing: there is there I guess there was a black hole that powered the Almighty, but if that cell had been ruptured, then the Earth wouldn't be here anymore.
yeah, I'm
wish you would've
guessing.
We're gonna have to seal that off at some point.
Yeah, or like maybe there was something on the Almighty that was powering the black hole, like feeding it. And so once that machine was destroyed, maybe the black hole kind of just collapsed on itself or something.
Possible.
Yeah,
But
and that's what
what
caused the larger shockwave.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
also
mean,
the
there could be
Almighty
some really cool stuff in there too, though, like with the black hole. Like I would love it if there was this mission where we have to go in and save that guardian that was stuck there now.
Okay, can someone explain that to me, please?
Okay, so basically,
Because I've been seeing that a lot online, and it's just
yeah. Sparks notes on that was there is so there's this black hole instance on the Almighty, and a guardian, actually a nameless guardian, went up there, and he got trapped in the event horizon of the black hole, so he's constantly falling to his death. But for us, he's completely frozen in time, but for him, everything is moving incredibly quickly outside of him. So
relativism. It's like speed of light
Exactly.
getting
So he's
gotcha.
trapped in place, and his ghost is there as well, like frantically trying to do something for him, but he's a ghost and he can't do anything. And so the ghost can't res him because he's not technically dead yet.
Yeah.
He's still falling into the event horizon of this black hole. And I don't know, maybe he gets free, and who knows? Maybe it's Aldrin of all things, but yeah. I don't know why it would be. Like,
No.
It makes no sense why it would be.
No,
Aldrin,
it's not.
Yeah,
Wasn't it a
fuck Aldrin.
Titan too? I think it was a Titan.
Oh yeah. I
You
feel
mean
like I remember
Aldrin's not
that.
a Titan?
I
It's
mean,
never confirmed.
assumptions
mean-
being made.
Let's be real. Obviously, if he's not a Titan, he's not just shitty at being a human being. But he's
Shitty
also
at being a
shitty.
guardian.
He's also shitty at choosing his class.
Yeah.
Crayon tastes good.
Yeah, I'm actually the red ones taste the best.
Like cherry.
Wax.
That sounded moist.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of cool. I'm kind of happy that they didn't completely destroy the Almighty, and I'm willing to bet that we're going to go into the wreckage. So
Yeah, I think there's got to be a mission going in there. Like it would be
either
so
mission or
cool.
It's got to be a new patrol zone. Like I would expect a new patrol zone.
Yeah.
At that point.
It's a possibility.
I'd also love a PvP map in it.
Yeah. Oh, in the destruction of the Almighty itself.
Yeah. I was thinking it'd be cool if there was a it'd be cool if there was a PvP map with like lots of little holes and crannies that you can like jump through and like get a nice flank going and stuff like that. I thought that would be cool.
It's made for me.
Alrighty. Well, is that our Almighty live event wrapped up?
I'd say so. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it.
How does everyone feel about that at the end?
It was cool.
Overall, really, really, really positive. Just it's unfortunate that either there's this miscommunication or sounds like more likely there was just
I thought that if they didn't plan for that, I'd be very surprised because it was like, even though it was minimal, like there was hype.
Yeah.
Like I was upset that I wasn't gonna make it in time like to watch. So I can only imagine that like people who might just be casual guardians, like I consider myself like a pretty thorough player. Like I wouldn't go as far as to say that I'm not casual because that's just not true. But like to have people who even are like me just wanting to come in and like witness this event, this spectacle that Bungie's putting on, like the show.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if Bungie didn't take measures to be like, oh hey, we're gonna have an influx of players that maybe we need to account for.
Yeah. That's true.
But I'm sure they'll be like, hey, by the way, like just
they'll probably come out and say something about it. Alrighty.
I'm good. Yeah.
That was a good, nice long chat. I really enjoyed that.
No,
yeah. Solid
nice.
boys.
Why don't we hop into the real world stuff that's happening though?
Yeah, so why don't we ease back into reality with Starlight's
Yeah, lighter note of reality.
yeah,
recently.
and then once you've done that strike, we can talk about ongoing world events.
That's fair enough.
Yes,
Are you
and that I am
now?
done now. Yeah,
Oh,
she's
wow.
dead.
Oh, New,
Starlight don't fuck.
you're gonna have to share that clip you took of me when we did the shattered, the
I kind of want
Pit
to,
of
yeah.
Heresy with Tolan.
Yeah.
Those were fun. That
Just
like we actually
around.
we met with our old Destiny 1 Sherpa last night. Just randomly, he was playing Destiny 2, which he never does anymore.
Move
And
closer to the mic, please.
oh, sorry. Yeah, I was comfy.
You can move your mic.
87
87.
seems like a natural stopping point for now.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was really sweet to run into Toland, our old D1 Sherpa, and just run.
Not the NPC. Just so
Yeah.
everyone's
Kind of
clear.
cool thing was like the students had become the master. Like we were running him through the Pit of Heresy, and he was the lower light level than we were, which was fucking weird. And so,
And yes,
yeah.
he did manage to get the username. I won't say the full thing, but it's Toland something, another word.
Yeah. It's a full name, and it's brilliant, honestly.
Yeah.
Like he's been deep into lore since like way back, like original days of D1.
Yeah. Okay. Starlight, how's your grind been going?
Grind's going good. My grind, for those of you that are wondering how to, follow Starlight's grind guide. For those of you who want to know how to level up to you,
Oh yeah, where can people find that?
people can find that on Twitter at #StarlightGrind. You're not going to find any information, but you will find me patting myself on the back whenever I level up, which is right now because I just hit 87. So
I'm here for it.
#StarlightGrind in the chat. So I was grinding out. My standard go-to for grinds is bounties and a strike that can facilitate all of those bounties. So I hit up every day daily bounties from Eris, from Zavala, Banshee, and also more recently from Rasputin, so that I can get 4
Sets.
PvE sets of like 9 essentially, because it's the 4 dailies plus the 5 bonus repeatable bounties. So like Tuesday is always the biggest day. Like I hit a Tuesday and I'm just like, yeah, I get like 12 levels in 45 minutes. This is great because I just go through and I do all of my gambit, I do all of my crucible, and I do all of my strikes just to get all of the weekly bounties done.
Nice.
And that just wipes me through levels like nobody's business. It's fantastic. But my grind is the Scarlet Keep. I get to do Eris, Banshee, Zavala, and Rasputin bounties all within the same strike. So it's not just doing Banshee and Shaxx bounties in Crucible or Banshee. Like Banshee is usually the one that's interchangeable between any activity because it just requires you using different types of weapons.
Yeah.
But by going through the Scarlet Keep, I can redeem, and usually it stacks. So I'll have like calibrate solar weapons, complete or get solar kills using strikes. Guess what? Those all work towards the same bounty. So I'm not having to go back and do multiple different things to get the same amount. Anyone who's listening to this podcast already knows this. This is typical grinding behavior. It's just I'm taking it to an extreme because I'm leaving it until the last 48 hours.
Yeah, you're like crazy. And not you're not going to get it done, because I genuinely believe you are.
#StarlightGrind in the chat.
Yep.
So I've loaded back into the tower after hitting level 87.
Hey, look up the Almighty. Oh wait, you missed it.
Yeah, I did. Well, I'm sorry. I was too busy keeping like, things in order and doing work. That's what I was doing. Anyway, so yeah, I know. Well, I bike to and from work, so I biked home, came through the door, ran in here, and I'm just like, let's calibrate our mics. I gotta do the grind. I have to be back at work at 6 a.m. and I'm biking tomorrow too. So it's a whole deal. That being said, I was doing a grind, and the pièce de résistance of the Starlight grind is getting loaded solo into a solo strike in the Scarlet Keep just because no one's queued for that strike in my lobby. It's fantastic because I go through and it's just like I can pause. Usually, if I'm in with a fire team, can't pause. It's you need to wait until you hit the elevators, and then you pause, switch your weapons, and then you to the next ones down your list. So usually I start with like, oh, I have 3 weapons for submachine gun kill. So I start the strike with the submachine gun. I go through until I get that, and then it's moved to hand cannon, auto, shotgun. I'm currently working like bows, linear fusion rifles. Anyway, so I essentially just was grinding through this strike that I've done over and over and over and over again. So I know where all of the spawns are. I can like hit them quickly and then I can move on. So I'm moving through this strike. I've gotten through the first major area, and I just finished up. Like I slam dunked both of the void charges, and now I'm rushing up to head towards the second area. And this guy joins my strike, so I wait for him to join because no one spawns while people are joining, so I can't kill anything, so I'm forced to wait. And he joins in, and I'm just like, cool, now it's time to keep going. So this additional fire team member joins in first, by the way. I was solo, and he joins in first, so he's my number 2, and then the number 3 joins shortly after he gets in, so I have to wait another loading period. So I'm running through just murdering everything in sight, and we get to the elevators, and he says, how about stop speed running? And I'm like, I'm not speed running. I've completed 13 bounties this strike. That's the opposite of speed running. That's literally called taking my sweet ass time.
Do you know who I am?
So I say to him, of course, keep up. Because I poke the bear. So I say, keep up to this troll. And he says, I'll just report you. To which I reply, lol. And so at this point, I've been solo in this strike up to this point. He has just joined me as we are approaching the elevator, and I have died solo.
Of course.
Because I went up against a Shrieker and I'm using a shotgun and an SMG, so I don't exactly have a ton of long-range weapons to deal with a Shrieker. So he says to me, literally the only person I've ever seen die in this strike, uninstall, scrub.
Oh my god.
So I just say XO, or no, I respond bah ha 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 ha, like just laughing at this guy because he's obviously not handling this super well. And so then I'm just laughing because I'm just playing the game like I normally do, and he's not keeping up or getting kills. Like he's caught up to me at this point because I died, so he had 30 seconds to run through the level. So he catches up to me, and I say, and we're on the elevator when we're having this exchange, and he says bah, or he says like uninstall scrub, and I just say bah ha ha ha, and then he. You know what? I'm just gonna read the chat verbatim because this is like it's too good to mess up and not do it justice. But oh no,
I think I can count a few gray hairs since you started this story.
Right? So he's just like, I'll just report you. Literally the only person I've seen die running that strike. You trash kid, go uninstall. So I say bah ha 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 ha, and he says bye now, scrub. To which I say, as a normal response to another human being, XO, 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 XO. Hugs and kisses.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about positivity. And he says, gay. So, of course, if you're going to report someone because you're trash at the game, and then you call someone just gay and make homophobic remarks about them because of how they're better at you in the game,
are you sure you're playing Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah.
Right? It feels like I'm playing Modern Warfare 2. But right? Of course, I need to poke it a little bit more. So I just say, thanks, daddy, with a heart emoji. and see how far we can take this. I want to see how much crap I can get him to say to me, so that like if he tries to ban me, I can just be like, yeah, this guy's being a homophobic asshole.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
But then, so he doesn't respond. At this point,
Yeah.
I've invested a little bit of time in this. Going into my phone, loading up the Xbox app, talking to him about how I'm a scrub and I should uninstall, and how I'm gay, and him rebuffing my hugs and kisses, which was very very mean. To which I just responded, "Where'd you go? I miss you." And I have yet to hear back from him. I said, "Please come back. I miss you," and I haven't heard back from him yet. But I am waiting for the day when we load into a strike together. And just to hammer the point home about how mad this guy was, who loaded in second in front of the person who loaded in third, he had 17 kills the whole run. I remember his stats more than I remember mine. He had 17 kills the whole strike. The person who loaded in third had 25. So they were 30 seconds behind him, and they still got 8 more kills than him. I had 238. Which is due largely in part to my speed running, because you know what speedrunners do? They make sure they stop and kill every single
of course.
Every single ad that appears on the map. You gotta stop and clear those ads, otherwise it's like RGB makes your computer faster and killing ads makes your speed run time faster.
Yep.
So it was just so gratifying to be like, to have an empirical value that said you did this for less time than me, but I still got like over 10 times the amount of kills that you got. It just, the trolling was great, and I feel bad that that's our segue into the rest of the real world news, because we've got some actual shit that we gotta talk about.
Well, that's probably the kind of person that is causing the issues.
You know what? I honestly, dude might be having a bad day. Like me poking the bear, he's obviously got some other shit going on that it's not great that it's not great that I'm feeding into it though. Like I'm giving him like the my tiny soapbox of a platform, and I'm bringing more more acknowledgement to this guy's actions. But yeah, I like I don't like that I like use the whole as soon as he called me gay, my first initial thought was just like, I can use this. And that shouldn't be be anyone's initial thought. Like that shouldn't be a person's like initial reaction to a homophobic remark. It should be discussed, and like that's so, rather than how I should have been able to benefit from it, like that, like my complacency within him using homophobic remarks towards me as an insult, and continuing to poke the bear,
but it was
like
fun.
that's it. Yeah, but like for the sake of comedy with an unknown stranger that no one's gonna hear about outside of our group of like our group, essentially, like I'm like I still feel like allowing, like that's something that I need to address about myself, but allowing this sort of like shit to proliferate within my purview when I have like, I'm a straight white male, like I'm the opposite of like oppressed. I have like all of the privilege in the fucking world, and like I have no, like I was on while I was doing the Starlight Grind and watching the civil unrest unfolding in the States, and I'm saying like, do I continue to just tweet like level up, Starlight Grind, hashtag Destiny 2, hashtag another Destiny podcast, or do I say like, hey, like by the way, these are some important things going on in the world that people should know about, even if it's my own platform that's like a small platform. It's important information that people deserve to know about. And then I'm going back and like saying that by not speaking out about it, because even if no one, like complacency with the issue and not speaking out about it is something that I need to work on more in my own personal life, because like it's up to me to use my massive like mountain of privilege like in order to talk about things, which it's like I'm going on a tangent. I'm going on a tangent, but it became,
I hop in?
Yeah, please do, because
Okay.
I'm steamrolling.
So just before we really get into the meat and bones of this. Hatha, thank you for the follow. You ask us, what is the key to success on Twitch?
Bold of you to assume we have success.
Yeah, basically, I would say watch our stream and then do the opposite of that is key. We are not the ones to ask about that, but yeah, basically be a good person, be engaging with your stream or any of your watchers, and probably look up a tutorial on YouTube because you'll get better information from there.
And honestly, the biggest thing, like, yeah, Ginger is absolutely correct. Like, be a good person. Also, thanks for the compliment on the headband. I very much like it myself. That's three.
You need to stop. You need to stop. Chat, you need to stop supporting this. This is detrimental to his overall well-being.
No, this is great. I'm loving this.
It's
just
detrimental
just-
to his overall well-being.
just enjoy yourself. Like, find yourself a couple of good mates that you can riff off of, and just have fun.
And when you can't find those, invite Cole.
Yeah, I'll be your mate.
Okay.
The chat is me so much right now, and I love it. You guys,
yeah, chat's really got your back on this headband situation.
Fine. I'm just jealous because I don't have any hair to hold it up.
Yeah.
he got no headband, but he got that head.
Hey,
goddamn.
When you met me, man, I had a headband, and like that was my look. And then when I finally cleaned up my act, you're just like, Jesus Christ.
It's like I got.
Okay, Newt, why don't you take us
we-
away into some real world stuff?
Yeah, so you guys ready for this one?
Dos, tres, cuatro.
So
I mean, we don't really have a choice. It's happening whether we're ready for it or not.
yeah.
These people in chat, I'm loving this, but wow. Sorry.
Okay, so everybody who's joining us, there's a few people joining us in chat. So welcome, first of all, and then, so I just want to start this all off with a bit of disclaimer. So just a heads up, we're about to talk about, I guess, the central point of the whole situation is the Black Lives Matter movement, and I think it's very important to say this right off the cuff. So all three of us are very supportive of the Black Lives Matter and just equality over, like, racism shouldn't exist. Like, it should not be a thing. And all three of us believe that. Like, everybody should just be equal. Everybody should just be humans that live together and, you know, see each other as equals.
Mhm.
However, we're about to discuss this live, so we're a little nervous, first of all, and we may misspeak. You know, we can't think of the word that we want to say, and because we don't want to leave, you know, dead air, we don't want to leave silence, we're gonna try to fill it in with another word, and it may not come out perfectly. So just
doing our best here.
Yeah, so just be aware of that. Like, we may misspeak at some point. Just know that we really have, yeah, we're fully supportive of the situation.
Yeah. I think I can speak for all three of us when I say that we stand with the Black Lives Matter movement, and we, I had the perfect word for this earlier, but we, I can't think of the word.
It's hard to do it live. So, and then one thing I also wanted to say, if people are wondering about this because they've tuned in to the stream, or they've gone to our Twitter page, or they've gone to my Twitch stream, or any of our Twitter pages, or they've seen the Spotify titles and descriptions. Yep. So I have not put any of the, like, I haven't put in the Twitter title, like, of our Twitter page, you know, hashtag BLM, or I haven't put the fist emoji. And I think people should be aware that doesn't mean I don't support it. I just personally, and this is like a struggle for me, I always feel very uneasy doing that, because I know whilst there are many people who do that and fully in support of the movement, there are also at least an equal amount of people and companies that put that in their titles, not because they really care about the movement, but because it's good publicity. And they feel like if they do that, they're going to garner more attention to their company, and it's a selfish thing, and that's the reason that they're doing it. So I'm always very uneasy about doing it, because I don't want to come across like that. So I think that's just personally a personal struggle that I need to overcome, and I just need to do it, like, because the good that doing that sort of thing far outweighs any people that are doing it for a selfish reason. So I'm gonna end up doing it. I just wanted to say that first, so that
That's totally
people don't think that. So
I mean,
it's gonna be going up soon. It'll I'm gonna put all that sort of stuff up tonight, but I just wanted to say that and kind of get off my chest first. That
yeah.
um
It is a sensitive subject to talk about, and like Newt said, that it's not that we don't support this, because 100% we do. It's just, it's always, I've even found this, like, talking to my friends in real life about this, like face to face. It is a tough thing to talk about, and it's good that people are talking about it now. It's good that we're talking about it on stream, and just bringing whatever small support that we can from this little from this little podcast in our nerd rooms here. It's just, yeah.
yeah, and I think part of the reason too is people are always nervous that they'll say something that
Yeah.
comes across wrong, especially online over text. It's hard to read
that's true.
tones, and they don't want to give people the wrong impression and get people upset at them.
Yeah.
So who wants to start us off?
It's mine. I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say on the subject.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be a bad. People might see that as a bad thing, but it's a very cut and dry.
I think
thing
that
for
is
me.
I think that
Yeah.
is true. I think it's like sometimes it's hard to come up with things to say because it seems like it should be obvious. Like, yeah, Black lives should matter, racism shouldn't exist, right? So sorry, I
Yeah.
cut you off, but I agree with you on that point.
Yeah, we support the Black Lives Matter movement, like I said before, and it's just as horrible as what's happening in the world is. It's good that it's finally getting into the light, and the amount of recognition and learning and knowledge that's been happening across the world is, I don't think we've seen this before as a human race. And I can't put exactly any I can't put a whole lot of um sources to what I'm saying here, but a couple people who have lived through the 60s and 70s said that even back in the day when there were gigantic protests, um lashing out against the Vietnam War, like they haven't seen this kind of massive support on this scale before.
Yeah,
And
it's gone
things
from like an American issue to a world issue.
exactly, yeah, which is fantastic. It's like people from across the world are joining this movement and speaking out against it and doing whatever they can. And you don't always have to go to a protest. You don't have to do every single thing, as long as you can speak up for what you believe in, and you can, to some degree, be it like a Facebook post or an Instagram post, or talking to your friends about it, talking to your family about it. As long as you can make that small supportive contribution, then you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, even just bringing awareness to the situation
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
a contribution to the movement.
It's one. It's, yeah. Your voice might be one small voice, and these voices might be three. Well, we do the three of us do have kind of loud voices, but
Hmm.
every, like, think of it this way, like a there's like a grain of sand is a tiny, it is nothing on its own, but an entire beach is made up of individual grains of sand. And if everybody speaks up, and if everybody makes their voices known and heard, then change will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much my standpoint on it. That's all I have to say. So
Yeah. Starlight?
I come from a bit of a unique perspective on this based on my employment, what I
Ooh.
do for a living. I work in security services with the health authority of where I live. That involves very close work with law enforcement. That involves very close work with a lot of people who have who could be deemed by others in society as dangerous, who could be um, deemed as uh, posing a threat or misunderstood. If it's a lot of mental health, it's a lot just where we live. I work with so many wonderful people who intend to go out and do the right thing every single day, and I am looking at um, the protests. I'm looking at the uh, civil unrest that's going on in the states, and the show of unity that's happening all around the world, which is wonderful and fantastic. And one thing, based on my close work with law enforcement, um, that I've seen is I get a lot of stuff coming to my page where there's a lot of or just on my social media where there's a lot of differing opinions about how things were handled on both sides, which immediately brings up the concern of there shouldn't be two sides. This is not a two-sided issue. This is a singular issue, where we are seeing more of it now. That doesn't mean that it wasn't always happening. 1991, they, like we were saying with Cole, I know you were saying, with the protests of the war, but even going as far back as the LA riots in '92, like that was police brutality. It didn't go away. It isn't gone. It hasn't been hiding. It isn't getting worse. This has always been here. This is things that are happening every single day that people who are living without the privilege that I enjoy every single day have to deal with walking down the street. And it's insanity to me to think, but I just as recently as today, I had my eyes open to, I always would consider myself a very like aware and like woke individual where I acknowledge that, like, yeah, I've gotten through the places that I am today because I started life with a giant head start on so many people. And not just that, but like realizing that my inaction and my complacency, just because I acknowledged my privilege but didn't use my privilege as a platform, um it's it's hard to put into words um
Yes, Newt.
how like yeah, sorry, Nugo.
I just want to say, I'll let you hop in again in a quick second, but just so people listening or watching, I think this is gonna run quite a while.
Yeah,
but I
I have
also
I have a lot of things.
yeah, and
I just have a lot of feelings.
I'm not gonna stop it because I think this is a very important and this conversation needs to happen. But I just want people to have a heads up. So
Yeah.
that was it. That was all I wanted to say.
Yeah. But I, even through something as simple as not even my job, but like I was saying, it's not happening more now. We're just seeing more of it because people are fed up, and rightfully so. This shit shouldn't be happening anymore. People need to be using their platforms to like shine a light on this shit when it happens, and not just outside of their own platforms. I saw a very good example today of I saw a very good step in the right direction. I won't call it an example because there are some things that were brought up afterwards that I agree with um with how Rooster Teeth specifically and Achievement Hunter they're moving to acknowledge the systemic like complacency of racism, sexism, and oppression that, or their own don't feed the troll,
I think that's the right word.
but their own don't feed the trolls attitude. And I was the co-founder of Rooster Teeth and founder of Achievement Hunter, Jeff Ramsey, had a off-topic podcast, episode 236. It's available on all of Rooster Teeth's platforms. But it's a very like real conversation that happens with a person much like myself, maybe who comes from a different time than me, but he shares all the same privileges that I enjoy every day. He's acknowledging past events in his life that led him to building up his own walls for his own protection, but because of his position within the company, he was like that create by building up his own walls to protect himself, that also that wall went two ways, and it could protect the people who were
harassing.
it could protect the people that were harassing his employees. And because he had adopted this complacent style of don't feed the trolls and just ignore it, it took until the recording of that podcast for them to send a very loud and clear message that that shit is not tolerated in their community. I think that it was done well. I think that they have a lot of steps to take. I feel like it is a good time for every single person who has any platform, no matter how small, to understand that this shit is not going to be tolerated in any of their communities, even ours. Like if this starts coming up and we're seeing this and we aren't taking a stand to remove it and to not give these people a platform, our platform, to lend our platform to them so that they can spew this hate and
You good?
yeah.
Remember to breathe, my friend.
Yeah, I've been finding myself on both ends of this recently with work, from the end of people who are very well intended and who in every other situation would be doing very much the right thing, to it. I don't know how certain things are to be handled in this situation. I don't have enough experience. I'm still learning. I'm working my ass off to make sure that I handle every situation with and every person that I come into contact with dignity and with respect. And it's
Oh, it's because you're a good person.
like at the same time this is not doing these things. I don't think it's one thing that's touched on in the off topic podcast. Doing those things don't make you a good person. Doing those things make you the bare minimum of being a human. You should be taking these steps towards you shouldn't be like patted on the back for like going out of your way to not tolerate things within your own immediate circle, or within going out of your way to be a good person. You should be being a good person means going out of your way to make sure that the privileges that you enjoy every day do not affect other people negatively.
Yeah.
And we're in a tipping point where we need people to rally and like fight together for this. And for
we're watching history happen.
It's yeah, I just don't like I come home every day to the comfort of my own home and I grind out levels on Destiny, and I'm doing it out of a like a perverted sense of like a perverted sense of like dedication to myself and to like the game and to everything that I've done to get to that point this season. But there's like I don't I don't want this chance for people to stand up and speak and remain silent to pass people by. Like I feel like anyone who has any sort of a platform needs to start shouting it from the rooftops. And even just if it means diversifying, I have a background in cultural anthropology, which is a total throwout, which means nothing to a lot of people. But essentially, I took a lot of cultural anthropology, which is it's the study of local cultures, and then I took a lot of sociology, which is the study of society. And
you're a learned man.
I'm a learned man. I got a piece of paper and everything. It's in a little frame. But this, like, the thing that prevents people from, or the thing that like causes stereotypes, bias, and racism to fester, is a lack of, for like boiling it down, it's a lack of individuating experiences with people of different cultures or backgrounds as you. And if that means different cultures, or if that means different ethnic groups or skin tones or whatever, by building your circle to include people who are from from outside of your own circle of like cultures and ethnic groups and races, that's how you build a better understanding of what the world can be like in a more diverse and more cohesive way. So a lack of individuating experiences for me is going through my subscription feed on YouTube, Twitch, anything, and seeing group of white dudes, group of white dudes, group of white dudes, group of white dudes, and it could be group of white dudes that play games with like someone else for like every once in a while. But I'm not seeking out that individuating experience, and I'm not seeking that I'm not seeking that diversity that I could be. So I made a point today to dig into through the off topic podcast and the then followed by going through one of the achievement hunters Twitter pages, just finding different people. Like, I'm not going to force myself to watch content creators just because of, like, I'm not going to pat myself on the back just for forcing myself to watch content creators that are outside of my own race or outside of my own ethnic group or
But
culture.
you're trying, and that's what
But
counts.
but what I'm doing is they exist, and me, like, what's crazy to think about is that they exist and I've already enjoyed a lot of their things. I'm finding people who I have enjoyed in the past that have been guest stars that I haven't followed up with, that I'm not showing the support. I'm not giving the same love to their platform that I'm giving to this largely like heterosexual white male platform. And it's important to me to go through and like acknowledge that these people are like talented, like creative and wonderful individuals who deserve to have a voice to a larger platform that isn't just like that isn't just incidental to this incidental to this larger group of white dudes. So it's been a to say that I'm going through anything worse than any person who's like actually being affected by like by police brutality or by the like who feel the need to like everyone should feel the need to, but who are out in the streets and fighting for equality. Like, to say that I'm being affected any more than anyone else feels selfish, and it's
Well,
I've
'cause you're
taken
not.
this I've taken this stance on this soapbox for too long already, but it's something that I like.
Look
It's
at the
something
clock,
that
like,
I
holy fuck.
it's something that I get like super worked up about right now, just
No, I can tell.
because I'm coming at it from a relativistic point of view with my background in cultural relativism, and I'm coming at it from also like from that also I consider like my cultural relativism and my cultural and just my general being and my identity as a person of not being a complete shit rat, like racist piece of shit.
Starlight with his opinions. So anyway, I started blasting.
Yeah, so anyway, I started blasting my opinions. But I'm coming at this from that side, but also from the side of I've received training in use of force through my job and through other things. And I've received training that I can take a look and see the disgust that I like. I can see things that are happening in the States and not just the States, to limit it to the States is wrong. But I can see things that are happening around the world that are being perpetrated by police officers and the police brutality that's happening, and it sickens me to the point where it took me several tries to go through the full video of what happened to George Floyd.
That's fair.
Because
It's not easy.
watching it and getting to the point where I'm, as a health authority employee and a first responder and someone who is required to render aid to people who are in distress, and watching that happen and just seeing the life be sucked away from this guy and be on both sides of this argument, because I'm seeing these videos of people applauding cops and other first responders who are putting aside their loyalty to the badge, and it takes, like, I want to scream that these people aren't putting aside their loyalty to anything. These people who are speaking out, who have a badge, they're standing up for exactly what that badge is supposed to mean, and they are working their asses off to try and make sure that this isn't going to continue.
We got you.
And like, to be on that side of the road where there are people who I see the reactions and how it can be a very like
You're okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it can just be a very challenging thing to witness
Hmm.
what's happening and see this and then witness it from just to see it's hard for me to look at the badge that I respect and the badge that I like, that I aspire to, and have all these feelings of just enragement, just the anger of what's happening, the elderly man that was pushed by Boston PD, um, going back to Trayvon Martin, to like with even just with the George Floyd video being the more recent one, um, but it's
It's not easy.
it's hard for me. Like, I want to, like, I'm working doing what I do because I believe that it helps people. I'm working because it gives people, like, I've saved lives doing what I do. It's just a fact that I've done that. It's not a pat on the back, but it is I'm doing what I do because I know that it helps people.
Yeah, it's part of the job.
I have empirical evidence that it has helped a lot of people.
Of course.
Um, it's just very it's to see what to see my job and to see other people's jobs who have the same aspirations and have the same set of values as me be thrown. uh
it it's may I say something
yeah,
that I
yeah,
think
please.
maybe might kind of some like it shatters your reality, like what you thought the reality of your badge is, because you're a good person. This badge to you, it's a the reality is that you are a protector, you're a good person, you serve and protect, and it shatters your reality when you see someone wearing a similar badge that basically stands for the opposite of that. Like, there's that
Yeah.
like huge war going on in your head of like, this is what I thought, and this is what I see when I look at myself in the mirror. But when I look online, like, I see the opposite of that. I don't know if that's true.
And there's good mixed in with the bad. There's fantastic instances of people, of riot police showing up to suppress protesters and stripping their gear, and standing with protesters. People taking knees, although BPD did that, and then the next day they knocked a man on his ass and gave him a concussion, made
Yeah.
him bleed out of his ear. But uh, like, there's always going to be good mixed in with the bad. It's the job of the good to call out the bad when they see it,
Hmm.
and not let that shit fester
Yeah.
and move
Exactly.
around. Because someone else please take this away from me because I'm
I
breaking
got you.
down
Yeah,
here.
I
I
got you,
think
man.
that's where you were saying before how
Or Newt's
the
got
the
you.
good to be a good person isn't, like you were saying, it like, you shouldn't be patted on the back for, if you're a police officer and you see your comrade, acting out aggressively towards a peaceful
Hmm.
protester. Like, the expectation is that you should be standing up for that protester and you should be protecting them because that is
Yeah.
your job. It's not even a question of like, I should do this to be a good person. It is a question of, I should be doing this because that is what I'm here for, not only as a say for as a cop or any kind of form of that, but also just as a person. Like,
Hmm.
that's the world we need to reach in order to get rid of these issues, is that as a person, our the our right to live is governed by how we act towards other and how we treat other people.
Exactly. Yeah.
um can I
I can.
say a
Hmm?
few more things and then say we can come back
Sure.
around to you, Cole, and then we can wrap up?
Sure. Sounds good.
Okay. One thing that I wanted to touch on, and Ginger pointed this out in the chat, and anybody who stuck around through this, like, thank you so much. Like, uh, the fact that you stuck around and you're taking part of this is so
Yeah.
important, and this is exactly what we're talking about, where this is the kind of thing that needs to happen. This isn't
Yeah.
just an
Actual numbers
American
behind it.
problem. So I think we are very lucky as well in that we live in British Columbia. And I'm not saying it's perfect, but of
Yeah. Far from it.
it, like, that is one of the more equal rights driven provinces of a more equally rights driven country in the world. But even here, there are so many examples of RCMP officers, that is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for anybody listening from another country, RCMP officers acting horribly towards, especially a lot of cases involve First Nations.
Mhm.
And so I think people, a large part of this problem as well, is people are looking at America and they're going, yeah, we support that movement in America. We also, like, just be aware, like, looking at your own backyard, like, it's probably happening in your country too.
Mhm.
I think just people need to be aware of that, like, and it's like until the 1970s there was residential schools in Canada, and which is for people who don't know, because not a lot of people know about this. They
It's
were
not
called
taught.
schools, but they were basically torture camps for children of First Nation descent. And yeah, so the last one was shut down in 1970. Most were shut down by that point, but I just thought
1996, man.
1996.
Fuck me.
Really? I thought it was the 1970s. What?
Punakee, Saskatchewan.
Oh, well, my bad. I read somewhere that it was 1970s, but
the last ones, they held out. They were less prolific, but they held out well into the 90s.
yeah.
Well, fuck.
Well, there you go. Even more example. Like I was saying, like, people don't know about this. There you go. For example, I didn't know that. Like, I read somewhere that it was in the 1970s, but obviously I should have done more research on the subject. So just be aware, like, people look at America and they go, wow, America's sure got a problem going on over there. Like,
they're not the only ones.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
That was basically the point that I really wanted to point out, is that
we're not perfect either.
Yeah.
And the only way that we're going to keep that, anyway, I'm just going to stick to, like, this one last thing that I want to say, is that there's nothing that we can do to change the past or what's already happened. That's out of our control. What we do have as tools for us right now is evidence, and we have this massive movement that's happening right now. We can't change the past, but we sure as fuck can change the future.
Yeah.
As long as we just keep talking about it, as long as we keep advocating for these things, go out and vote properly, make your voices known, send those emails to your mayors, to your to whoever,
any level of
whoever,
government.
any level, yeah.
That
Any level of government, just start sending the emails, and just, like we've been doing here, talk about it with everybody that you know, and
yeah.
hopefully we'll see some change.
Yeah, that is a really big one. To go vote when any election comes around. It's so important for you to go vote.
Make your voice known. Yeah, that's the best way you can influence what's happening.
Yeah. I also wanted to suggest, so I listened to a podcast called Common Sense with Dan Carlin. He talks about politics. He just recently put out one, but not so recent, that is during the Black Lives movement. Black Lives Matter movement. But there a lot of things that he says still ring true, because he was talking about the dissonance and the hatred between the two political sides in America, and how that was both being exacerbated and kind of quelling at the same time during the whole COVID-19 lockdown quarantine situation. I definitely recommend going to listen to it. It's the latest episode on Common Sense. This is shitty to talk about, and hard to talk about too, because he also says he doesn't know how to solve this, but, like, another huge part of the problem is, like, there's so much hatred between, blacks and whites, or left-leaning political party members and right-leaning political party members, and it's all being just constantly, like, it's like a negative feedback circle where this negative thing happens, and then the media reports on it because that gets them lots of views, and then people say in Canada, liberals see that conservatives did this shitty thing, And so liberals get upset and they get filled with this hatred and they go out and they perform these unruly acts. And conservatives see that in the news and then they get upset and it just goes back and forth. And like,
Yeah.
and it's so scary. Like, how do we get rid of this hatred that's building? Like, it doesn't help. Like, you have to look at the other side and see the person behind that. And you can one thing he says that's really important for people to realize is a large problem arose when people started thinking that the problem was no longer what someone thought, which is changeable. They started to see the problem as that person, like, which you can't change. You have to focus on what the person thinks. You can't just outright hate that person on both sides of the whole situation. Like, you just got to come to it with, like, I don't know. It's so scary because I don't know if, like, I think we're really at a tipping point of people need to evolve in a sense of learning how to have these talks with people of opposing views without hating them. And I don't know if humanity is going to be able to do that. And also, like, if you're a black daughter and your father was killed by a police officer, a white police officer, like, performing a horrible act, and you hate that guy now, that police officer, like, how can I blame you? Like, how can, like, there's no way I have the right to tell you you need to, like, yeah.
No, yeah,
I don't
I think honestly, guys, I think we're running out of steam on this one here.
Yeah.
Like, the point has definitely been made for sure, and I'm not obviously I'm not trying to shut things down, or I'm obviously not trying to censor anything.
Yeah, and it's so hard for us.
I feel like
I
mean,
hate
I
saying,
do the same thing. I get stuck in
Yeah.
circles. So,
and I hate saying that it's hard for us, but it's not.
No.
It's, you have to
it's not an easy thing
understand
to
we're
talk about
three.
until you do.
It can often be, how can I say this, tricky
Yeah.
for us to say our views on this because we are three white straight males, and
True.
like we're trying to understand what it's like
Yeah.
for these people, but there's just no way that we can really
No.
get
But
a
we
feeling
are,
of it.
like Starlight mentioned, we are using this privilege that we've grown up with to make our voices known and trying to, like you said, trying to understand. And we're doing the best that we can with what we have available to us. And we support the Black Lives Matter movement. And
Yeah.
I think that's the best we can really say right now.
Yeah, so
2.5 hours later.
yeah, anybody that's still in the chat or listening on Spotify, thank you so much. But anybody that's skipped ahead or stopped listening, I don't blame you in the slightest, because that was a long conversation, but I just felt like it needed to happen.
Starlight, you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing
Cool.
good.
Want to make sure, buddy.
Yeah,
We're here for you.
we've said a lot today. A lot's been said. I think it's important that people get out there, diversify your platforms, guys. Like, look at new shit. Like, find people who you enjoy that you want to support and support them. Like, it's and when you see it, just when you see it, call it out, because that the silence and the complacence is acceptance, and you can't have that going on. Like,
And
not anymore. It's no, the common phrase is, like, it's no longer good to not be racist. You need to be anti-racism, and that's something that needs to be prolific on every platform, no matter how small.
It could even be as simple as just experimenting with new recipes that you thought might be interesting, or you've never tried it before. Maybe give some different ethnic food a try.
And
I don't know.
Now is a good, like, weirdly, now is an easier time than ever to do that, because whilst, as I said earlier, I think many companies are doing this because, you know, they feel that they have to, either because they will get yelled at if they don't, or they think it's good publicity. But many companies right now are highlighting, you know, creative minorities. Like, for example, Spotify has on their very front page, you know, hey, Black Lives Matter movement, playlist and check out this podcast run by Black people, or like so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like
change is happening.
Yeah, it's a very easy time to do that, and definitely go check it out.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that we don't start cycling back in.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, we've said our piece, I think.
So thank you everybody who stopped by. Definitely go check out the TWAB, because Bungie has a bunch of links to organizations that are helping the Black Lives Matter movement.
Buy a pin.
Tonight I am going to overcome my personal struggle of not wanting to come across as someone trying to take advantage of this whole situation. I'm going to go adjust the Twitter title and everything like that to support the Black Lives Matter movement.
Nice.
So, let me just do, because it's hard to segue into this, so I'm just going to do our usual wrap up. So,
For sure.
Everyone who came by in the chat and to the stream, thank you so much. Everybody that dropped a follow, thank you. Hatha, big thank you for the follow.
Thanks for supporting the headband, guys.
Yeah. To our Spotify listeners,
We're gonna shut that down eventually.
Yeah.
You know what? You will pry this headband from my cold dead hands.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, to our Spotify listeners, thank you so much for stopping by. Everybody who's given us a follow on Spotify, thank you. You make us feel real good about ourselves. Because our schedule's so all over the place, we definitely recommend giving us a follow, just so that you can get notifications when we go live or when we upload a podcast. But if you don't want to hit that bell or anything like that, you can just go to @podcastdestiny on Twitter, and whenever we go live or whenever our Spotify upload is ready, I post it on there too. Speaking of Twitter, you can find me on Twitter @ADPNewt. The other two are big boys, so I'll let them say where people can find them. Cool.
Right, I'm a big boy now. Everybody can find me on Twitter @ADP Colossus, COLOSSUS, and yeah, I know Starlight, and shoot me a follow if you want. You can add me up on Xbox if you want. The Colossus, the THE space, same spelling. We can play some games. You can watch me play Jedi Fallen Order if you want, because that'd be a lot of fun. And hope to see you guys on the net. Starlight?
You guys can find me on Twitter @ADP Starlight. You can find me on Xbox, Starlight Falcon, spelled how it sounds. And going forward, maybe you can find me in the comment section of some better known channels calling out some people for their fucking bigotry.
Yeah. Thank you everybody who stuck by. This was I'm definitely like I'm struggling right now because it was a lot of emotions going on there. Big thank you to @GingerGiggles_ on Twitter for any of our artwork and for sticking around in the chat.
Oh yeah, I still have to get her design idea.
Yes, you do. Speaking of which, also if you're interested in a lore podcast, check out Cole's Twitter, or it also gets uploaded on our Spotify page. It's called Lore Mind, and it's pretty new, but the 3rd installment should come up pretty soon. Alrighty. Anything else we should mention?
I'm good.
Yeah. So on a lighter note, super big week in Destiny. This is a Destiny
big
podcast.
Big
you may
week.
not have known that.
There's a big week coming up, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on Tuesday.
There's going to be a lot of Destiny news coming around. Starlight Grind is going hard. He's got a lot of work to do. Check it out on Twitter too.
Just breached level 87. I might call it right after this, though.
Starlight, quick question: how the actual fuck did you not get kicked to orbit that entire time?
Every once in a while I do this.
Also,
Oh,
maybe they haven't changed it back yet, but the Almighty event, for that
Mhm.
they increased the amount of time you could be idle so that people standing and staring at the event wouldn't get kicked.
Oh,
So maybe
okay,
they
that's
haven't reverted that yet.
Hmm.
I don't see anything.
just
Yeah.
one just like the faintest triangle. Just oh no.
Oh wait, hey, you can see the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, moon's
I mean,
haunting.
that makes sense.
Is there still like warsats falling or like debris falling from the sky every now and then? Because I saw that was going on like for a while after the.
No, it's actually the other direction, Starlight. It's about out. towards the
Nope,
TWAB.
you're incorrect.
Oh, really?
It's
Oh,
all
it's over there.
over.
Oh, damn.
There's I don't know if you can see it, but from in the very top of my screen, there's
Oh.
100%
Yeah, I see.
glittery goos right there.
Guys, we want a
Boys.
little pick me up.
What? Yeah, what's up?
This will be a little awkward, so I'm gonna do the whole sign off, and then this will just be for people in the chat to watch, and it might be interesting because you guys are gonna have to watch it at a delay because you'll have to watch it on Twitch. So again, thank you so much for everybody stopping by this week. I guess we basically said everything that we needed to say. So to all our Spotify listeners, this is it. Remember, you always have time for another Destiny podcast. Goodbye, Spotify listeners. Come by live if you want to see what we're talking about now. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.